In most flying, you have one hand or the other on or close to the cyclic, and that is your key to survival when you have a surprise loss of power. That's it. That is necessary because you must reverse the airflow through the rotor system in order to enter an autorotative mode. And it doesn't have to be done in the green. If the rotor RPM is dropping out of the green just by a small amount, you can still recover it by applying AFT cyclic. Because sometimes you're going to be in a situation where you're distracted. The aircraft is kind of flying itself. You're not thinking about anything except what the passenger is saying or what you're doing on the radio. And there may be a reaction time on your part. And if you're on 3-axis autopilot, look out. Because the 3-axis autopilot removes the most obvious clue to you that you've just lost power to the rotor. What's that? The yaw. The autopilot instantly takes out the yaw, so you don't have that very familiar feeling of yawing right or left when power is lost to the rotor. You don't have that feeling because the autopilot corrects so quickly that you're not aware that you've just lost the engine. That flight characteristic isn't there with an active, turned on, functional 3-axis autopilot. It's controlling yaw. So when the aircraft does not yaw and the power is gone, that's a big clue you missed. So remember, when it becomes obvious to you that the rotor RPM is slowing down for some reason, apply AFT cyclic. One hand or the other, doesn't matter which one. Forget the collective for a moment. The collective is nothing but a propeller pitch control. That's all it is. Here's the rotor blade. Pull the collective up, down, up, down. The same as in an airplane with a prop facing down the runway, and you're in flat pitch, which is collective down, and you want to start a takeoff roll. You put pitch in the propeller blades to begin blowing air aft, and the aircraft moves forward. That's all you're doing with your collective. You're putting some pitch in your propeller, which happens to be mounted on the top instead of out in front. That's all it's doing. So get the cyclic back to reverse the airflow from top to bottom, bottom to top. That's your job. You do that in time, the helicopter is 100% happy. The rotor's happy. You don't do that in time, the airplane equivalent is, during the descent, you've lost your wings. That's the problem. If the rotor RPM drops down to a point which is never marked on the rotor tech, if it drops down to that point, that varies, make and model, rotor design, all that, drops down to that point, you cannot recover at that point. Still have rotor RPM, but there's no recovery. There's nothing you can do to bring it back up in the operating range. All you had to do was apply AFT cyclic, and I'm not talking about two hands yanking a cyclic back. We don't do that in helicopters. Massive panic-type reaction is not what we're talking about here. The cyclic is right there. It's handy for both hands. It's right there between your knees. It's always there, and it is the key to seeing the sunrise tomorrow.